is 9 News Now with Amelia Adams.
Today on 9 News Now, Australia pauses to remember our war heroes. Tony Abbott sits down with Barack Obama as Australian troops are headed for Iraq. The scientific breakthrough helping stroke survivors, and a top honour for Deborah Lee Furness. But first this afternoon, the nation has fallen silent as crowds pause to honour the courage and sacrifice of those who died fighting for our country. Remembrance Day services have been held across Australia to commemorate the armistice that ended World War I. Let's go live to Nine's Kerry Axley now at the National War Memorial in Canberra. Kerry, good afternoon to you. How has the day been commemorated?
Well, Amelia, a record number of people have turned out here to the Australian War Memorial for the national commemorative service, nearly 4,000 people. The commemorative address this year was given by former Prime Minister John Howard, and he noted that Australia has never fought in conflicts to conquer. Instead, we have always fought to defend our values and our principles, and he says that is the reason why we are fighting ISIL in Iraq. He also noted that today is about remembering the 102,000 Australians that have been killed fighting for this country, and also it's important to remember the many, many more who have come home with psychological and physical injuries. And he made an interesting point. He said that there is no hierarchy when it comes to sacrifice, and he made particular mention of Lance Corporal Todd Chidgey, who was the last Australian soldier killed in Afghanistan. His name was added to the Roll of Honour here at the Australian War Memorial today. He was killed in a non-combat related incident in July. Here is John Howard speaking about him.
His sacrifice and his contribution to the liberty of Australia stands equal to the contribution of every loss of an Australian life that had gone before.
Here in Canberra today, there were veterans, there were serving members of the Defence Forces and their families, as well as a long list of dignitaries, including the Governor-General, the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the Minister for Veterans Affairs, who was representing the Prime Minister, who of course couldn't be here today. He is in Beijing for the APEC summit, but despite his busy schedule meeting with world leaders, he still found time to attend a very small service at the Australian Embassy in Beijing, along with the New Zealand Prime Minister John Key. Here is some of what Tony Abbott had to say there.
We remember all who have worn our country's uniform. We remember them and dedicate ourselves to be worthy of their example.
As you mentioned, Amelia, there have been commemorative services around the country today. Around 2,000 people turned up to the main service in Sydney and Martin Place. They were addressed by the new Governor of New South Wales, former Defence Force Chief David Hurley, and he told the crowd that in just 4 years' time we will be commemorating the 100th anniversary of the armistice that ended World War I. Such a long time ago, but still so relevant. In Brisbane, numbers were down on last year at the main service there in Anzac Square, but the organisers believe that's because of the upcoming G20 meeting this weekend. People have just sort of wanted to get out of town. There was also a service on the Gold Coast where around 400 people attended. But Amelia, organisers believe that these numbers will grow in the years to come as we get closer to that 100th anniversary of the end of World War I. Amelia?
Yeah, it's remarkable, isn't it? Kerry, thank you for all of that. And meantime, commemorations in Melbourne have been extra special this year, today marking the 80th anniversary of the Shrine of Remembrance. For the first time, members of the public were allowed underneath, where a new war gallery has been opened. Brett McLeod has more.
After the traditional Remembrance Day service out the front of the Shrine of Remembrance, something unique. 80 years to the day after the shrine itself was dedicated, something new, opening up to the